Alrighty, hello everybody. This is video 640, and the title of it is going to be something about outing oneself with forms, and then we're going to talk a little bit about leaking, how I leak post GCS, something that no one ever told me about pre GCS, and as far as I know, I'm getting ready. As far as I know, I'm going to be the first to tell you about it, so listen up. Or if you're interested, you may not be, you may not even care. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit. I'm getting closer. I've noticed that the microphone on the laptop is not as good as my old computer. So anyway, after watching one of the older videos from about a year ago, I was like, boy, I wonder how I would look with some makeup on. So today I did do the full, if you could tell, did the full makeup eye and everything. But anyway, neither here nor there. But I want to talk about outing oneself. You know, part of the transition process, we focus on passing. I hate to use that word passing, but integrating ourselves probably is a better word. We integrate ourselves into womanhood as we perceive it. And we want to fit in with the norms and whatnot, but we're so worried kind of about outing ourselves. I can know for myself with my voice, outing myself was something I was worried about. And yesterday when I was at my job, I heard, well, first I saw a couple of women who I'm like, is that a trans woman? You know, she doesn't look so great. And of course it was a cis woman. It was a cisgendered woman. Okay, women come in all shapes and sizes, and what a terrible thing we do to ourselves when we compare ourselves to these beautiful women or whatnot. When in reality, women come in all shapes and sizes. Okay, they come in all shapes and sizes. Agreed. Well, they come in all shapes and voices too. And I can tell. I made a video a long time ago about when I worked in the movie theater, and one day I was getting popcorn for people when I heard a real raspy man come up behind me, and of course it was a woman. So women come in all shapes, sizes, and voices. Granted, that doesn't keep us from saying to ourselves, well, I don't sound as feminine as I want to sound. And there certainly are a lot of YouTube videos out there claiming to tell you how to feminize your voice, and probably work. Your mileage may vary, but I would just, a bit of caution. Women come in all shapes, sizes, and voices, and granted, we certainly may not like the way that we look, we may not like the way that we sound, we may not like that we present ourselves, etc., etc. That's totally an individual choice. Your mileage may vary. But like I said, in my new position where I work, sometimes I'm at a cash register with the public, and there's all different types of women, shapes and sizes and voices, so just a bit of a caution there. But I found myself like mimicking different voices at work, you know, and there was one girl who came through who, you know, she just had this voice that was like, you know, oh, how are you today? Are you okay? You know, oh, it's so nice to see you. It's so nice the store's open. It's so friendly here. I really do like being here, which almost sounds a little too flighty and doesn't really sound like a real voice, whereas this probably is a little more realistic as a voice. But again, is this my voice? No, this is my voice. This is the voice I was born with. And for myself, I'm very happy with my voice. So there are times I'm not, but again, I am a mimic. I do mimic people throughout the day, and I love doing voices when I play D&D. I'm looking forward to running a new campaign because I love doing different voices for my non-player characters. But anyway, just a bit of a caution. We do come in all shapes, sizes, and voices, but that's not what this video is about. This is about outing oneself medically. For some reason, and I'm curious what you think, what is your experience? Do you ever feel somewhat shortchanged, or can't think of a word for it, short-sheeted? Do you ever feel somewhat bad, like when you go, like, here's what brought this up. I'm seeing a doctor tomorrow, a hematologist, about my blood clots, which I think there are more on the way, but I can feel them in my foot, and I don't like it. I'm on blood thinners and everything else. But, on the form, you get through the first 3 or 4 pages of your family history, your parents, your children, your siblings, grandparents, different diseases and everything. And then I got to like the 4th page of the little packet, and it said at the top of it, for men only. And it listed stuff about prostate, if you ever had a prostate surgery, different exams and whatnot. And then about halfway down the page was a line, and underneath that line was for women only. And it talked about menstruation, when was your first menstruation, when was your last menstruation, have you had any surgeries, hysterectomies, etc., etc. So definitely, from a biological point of view, most of us came into this world as one sex or another, and that's probably, is it too much to ask the form to put, I don't know what you would put. I mean, for the general public, obviously men and women work, but I don't know, could you say male sexed, female sexed? I don't know. I don't have the answers, but it just made me feel like up until that point, here I was, the woman that I am, that I claim to be, that I am in this world. And then I got to like a certain page, and it was like, boom, gonna out myself, and probably whoever reads the form in reality probably doesn't give a shit. They don't care. They're just gonna process the form and put it into a computer, type it into a system or whatnot. And definitely for the physician, it's for their benefit just to let them know, hey, what surgeries have you had, your history or whatnot. But I didn't like the fact that, up until page 4, my own little perfect microcosm, okay, my own little mental glass house was put together, and everything was wonderful and great. And then all of a sudden on page 4, because I go down to men only and I talk about any surgeries that I've had, internally, my body is still male. Obviously I've had GCS, which we'll get to in a minute. We're going to talk about what no one that I know of has talked about. But I guess to a certain degree, I'll always have that with me. I'll always have that male history, up until I was 40, what am I now, 47? Up until I was 44, 45, I lived as a male, and I had a male's body, and externally and everything else. So it only makes sense. I mean, you probably sitting there going, well, duh. But it just cheesed me off a little bit, So now the doctor is going to look at it and, transgender. The nurse is going to look at it, transgender. The triage person, whoever looks at that form is going to kind of know, and I don't like it. So, bow wow. But I just thought I would share that with you and just see if anyone else, does it cheese anyone else, that it's like baggage we carry with us that we'll always carry with us. So I'll leave it at that. And on to the next part, which will talk about leakage. And I think, I don't know if I'm alone in this. You can put in the comments too if you've had experienced post-GCS. I forgot the name of the surgery that I had, a labiaplasty, something like that, penile inversion, sort of. I don't know, it wasn't really a penile inversion. When I think of penile inversion, I think of taking a balloon and turning it inside out, taking a balloon, your penis, and like cutting the tip off, or maybe not even that, pulling the muscle out, and then coming back through and pulling it inside out, and then putting it in between the cavity they make between your legs, and that's the hole. So here you have now this tube, which I guess is the penile inverted penis, and so you have all the sensation in that tube, and I guess that's what I thought a penile inversion was, but I must have had something else, because it was like Frankenstein, the way it was done. Things were cut off and reassembled and, I don't know, modified in some way. But anyway, we're going to talk about leakage. I leak during the day. When I pee, after I pee, I wipe myself. And yet, throughout the day, I still leak urine. And so what I originally had done was buy panty liners, okay, which are very, very thin. This is a panty liner. And you would think throughout the day this little fella would do wonders sucking up urine. And the fact is I feel it. Okay. Now I have been to the doctor. I've been examined. Uh, Everything, the seals work. The things that close stuff off works. It's just part of my body. I guess I relax enough, and a little bit of liquid probably dribbles out. And when you're a guy, you probably don't think about it. And maybe you can feel it because you have a longer, you have a tube. You can feel the pee coming, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, I guess I better go to the bathroom or whatnot. And it definitely is directional. Whereas once you have the operation, you're dealing with a much bigger, now, instead of having a little itty bitty hole that pew, pew, pee comes out of, you have open the door and see all the people. You now have this cavity, and your little pee has been kind of spread apart, and so yeah, it just kind of dribbles out. That is a kind of a good analogy, isn't it? Or does it look like a face hugger? You know. Anyway, so what I've done lately is I've switched to a much bigger pad, and these are actually the pads that I wore after my surgery for blood and whatnot, and these actually do a good job of holding it in. Probably, I'm going to see if they make maybe a little smaller one, because it's quite a big size difference between the two. What's cool about these is they have little wings, so when you pull it off and you stick it on your underwear, you can pull these little flaps off, and they go around your underwear and they hold it in place. So anyway, first YouTube video that I know of that talks about leaking urine after GCS. You heard it here. It happens. I don't think I'm the only one. If I am, then I'm the only one. But the downside to this is the plastic. After a couple days, you've got quite a little collection of plastic. It would be almost kind of cool. I mean, number one, I think it's folded in on itself like a sandwich. I don't think it really needs the plastic, but I guess it's for convenient and to keep it water. Isn't it kind of funny to keep it dry, and yet it's there to just absorb water? I guess that's the whole point of it, though, isn't it, to absorb water? So, but that's all I'm going to talk about today. Sort of a short video. I am personally a little bit worried about the blood clots. It's weird, and maybe it's just part of life, where I'm at in my journey, that as a 47-year-old, 47 and a half year old, maybe I'm more susceptible now. Maybe my body has changed to the point that blood clots are kind of going to be an issue. But I swear, I'm a bleeding head of Arnold Palmer, that I have not done any hormones. I mean, there's nothing to cause, because that's what everyone and their brother thinks, is that it's the estrogen is causing the blood clots. But I've not done anything. I've increased my exercise. I'm eating better. So why the blood clots? We don't know. We don't know. All right, my friends, that's it. I'm trying to think of anything else I can think of, but I would be curious to know your impact or your theory. I'd like to know, number one, what you think about being outed somewhat at the doctor's office by your medical forms. I do love it when you first get there and they don't know you from Adam or Eve, I guess I should say. They don't know you from Eve. And they're like, when was your last menstruation? Was it a heavy flow? Did you have a lot of blood? And they ask about pregnancy, have you had a child and whatnot. And then they get to page 4 and it's obvious, and they're like, oh, talk about microaggressions. No, it doesn't happen that way. I can say that for me, I've never had a nurse treat me bad, treat me differently. Especially the nurses I've been in contact lately. It's all been friendly. Everything's been good. And, it's amazing how we're our own fears, how we we think, you know, people are talking about us and they can't stand us or whatnot. They don't give a fuck. People are too busy in their own worlds. And you know what? If they want to have an opinion about me, so be it. Hopefully it's a good one, but if it's not, it's not. There's nothing we can do. All right, my friends. There we go. Looking a little more. I took a shower this morning and my hair was so against my head, and I hate it that way. I much rather have poofy hair than whatnot. Till next time, good luck in becoming your authentic self as you define it, and we'll see you the next time. All right, take care, my friends. Peace. Peace.